And we're live
Live
on YouTube if you're watching. We don't have any watchers yet. That's okay.
That's all right.
We're going to make it. Welcome to Burnham Podcast, episode number 9, with my brother / co-host, Drew Burnham. I'm Danny Burnham. Good evening, Drew.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for those of you watching and or listening. We are going to talk about a couple of different things tonight. The main subject is going to be graduation. It's that time of year. Graduation from college, high school, pre-K, 6th grade. Kids graduate like 8 times these days. It's not special anymore. Stop graduating, okay? High school and college, like that's it. Stop doing it. Anyway, we're going to talk for just a minute first about Memorial Day. That's also what's going on this time of year. And I don't know how many veterans like really take this seriously. I've seen guys get upset about it. People wishing veterans happy Memorial Day.
It's not a good deal.
It's not what it is. Even General Patton, George Patton, we were talking about him in the car on the way here, said that, it's foolish and wrong to mourn for these men, but, we should be grateful instead that such men lived. So by all means, celebrate these guys that made the ultimate sacrifice and are the reason that we have Memorial Day. But, to be like, happy Memorial Day, it's not like a happy thing, I guess. It's more of a somber.
Reverent.
That's a good way to say it. Reverent.
Okay.
We're going to pan this way just a tad. There we go.
Do it.
So I talk with my hands, and it's weird if you can't see me. And I just like being able to see myself where I'm at in the front. Anyway, so before you get crazy on Monday with beer and brats and, whatever it is you're doing, just keep in mind the reason for the day and, be reverent. It's Memorial Day. Remember the men that made that ultimate sacrifice, and women for that matter. But that's coming up in the next couple of days.
Wouldn't be a bad play to go back and check out episode
2.
Episode 2. Check it out.
Prime example of what Memorial Day is all about. The episode is titled Greater Love Hath No Man.
That's right.
That's it.
It was a good one.
It was actually the first one we have on air right now. But anyway, Memorial Day is coming up. Honor those men. Remember, it's for the ones that are past, so not just any veterans going to want to celebrate Memorial Day. So just be mindful of that. And go Army. Beat Navy. Woo.
Mm.
Yeah.
I got a side story.
All right.
I was always a go Army, beat Navy guy growing up, right?
Right.
And then I had that internship in Maryland, and we did an off-site practice at the Naval Academy. And you got to hang out with those guys for a day, and you got to be there, and you got to, they're all wearing the shoes, and on the back of their shoes, it doesn't say Nike, it says Beat Army.
Beat Army.
And there's banners everywhere, and they don't hit a Play Like a Champion Today sign. They hit a sign that says Beat Army when they're playing.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
North Texas, Beat Army.
But it was really cool when you get to spend a day with those guys and see. And if I had spent a day at West Point, it wouldn't have been any different. But being able to spend a day with those guys and see how they operate a little bit and kind of what their day's about, that was kind of flipped me instantly there. I got to be a Go Navy guy now.
I get it. I spent some time at the Military College of Georgia. Go, there's a different mascot now.
Nighthawks.
Nighthawks. Go Nighthawks. We were the Saints, and we were better. I don't like the Nighthawks. I don't send them money. Anyway, I didn't send them a ton of money when I went to school there. God bless them. They're cranking out fine soldiers still these days, so go North Georgia. We'll just say that. So, speaking of academic institutions, we're talking about graduation tonight.
That's right.
Graduation. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, or if you follow Fire Christian Media on Facebook,
you should do both.
You should do both. At Danny J. Burnham. There was a question I posted the other day on both sites asking what would your advice be to 2018 graduate. What do you got to say to this guy? He's just graduated. He's going into the real world. They're pushing him out there. He's been developing skills and gaining knowledge for the last 13, 14, 15 years, depending on how hard first grade was for you. And it's go time. Life is getting real. It's time to go. And then we get advice from all kinds of people and all kinds of places when it's our turn to go through that season of life. But there's always something that maybe we didn't hear or maybe we should have heard, or looking back, maybe if somebody had told me, I would have known. But so we've got a list of those, the people that answer the question.
I got them pulled up. There were a couple classic entries. Dan Ryan coming in from Daytona Beach.
Dan Ryan.
Off the top rope. Loved it.
Yeah. So on this list, this is, I mean, it's a broad, eclectic list of people and personalities and professions. We've got everybody on there. We've got military personnel. We've got educators on different levels, high school, college.
Doctors.
We've got doctors.
Golf pros.
Dental
hygienists.
Yeah. Some other recent graduates, nurses, teachers again, all kinds of people on here. Marines, soldiers.
Lots of educators.
A lot of educators. Hip-hop DJs, okay. Techno, I think, is his thing. Ben Gaylor, if I'm wrong on that, straighten me out. EMTs.
Some more military fun. Lots of
Jamie Palmer is working on a career as a well-paid rich person.
Do it, JP.
He's going to get into politics, I think, one day. Anyway, we're going to read some of these responses. And if you have a graduate, if you know a graduate, feel free. If you are a graduate, certainly feel free to digest these, pass them on, whatever you want to do with them. We're just going to start right at the top. And Drew, I'll read a couple of these.
Do it.
And you can read a couple of these, and we'll just kind of go back and forth. Jen Poole says, just do it. All right, Jen Poole, brought to you by Nike. You can take that in several different ways, I guess. Just do whatever you're thinking about doing. Do it. Not like, don't get crazy now, but like if you're thinking about majoring in astrophysics, give it a shot, whatever.
And I think with that, for me, there are a lot of things that I've been figuring out the last 3-4 years. And I stopped and I said, gosh almighty, I wish they would have taught me that in high school.
Yeah.
So to figure those things out, because nobody's teaching you that stuff. You're not talking about that in school. Figure that stuff out. How do you figure that stuff out when you're 24, 25, 26 years old?
The hard way.
You just do it.
Yeah.
And if you're wrong, the next time it comes around, you just don't do it that way again.
Right.
And you just figure it out.
That's true.
Because there's so many things that they just didn't teach you.
Yeah.
Not that you guys are blowing it.
No, I know, but there's things we could do better. Believe it or not, public school, there's room for improvement. Second on this list, my buddy Dan Ryan, the guy that got me my start in journalism, says learn how to fight zombies. And it's got to happen one day, right? I mean, like sooner or later, this zombie thing is going to go down, and it's going to.
I think Dan just took episode 6 a little too far.
Maybe.
But that's okay.
He might have the zombies. I don't know. Dan Ryan says learn how to fight zombies. Andy Roden says Taco Bell has cheap food, and you can eat it every day and live. True story.
That's a lot more valuable than people think. If people think that Andy was being funny, there's some truth to that. Because there's going to be times in your life when it's got to happen.
You got to eat there's something to be said for that. And in Dahlonega, Georgia, when I was in college, like Taco Bell was a cornerstone.
It's got to happen.
Because they didn't have Chick-fil-A then. Taco Bell was where it was at.
Worst.
Here we are plugging
businesses.
See, we could do it. We could plug a business. We didn't mention our corny, non-existent sponsor or not, but you guys get we can plug a business. Let me know, man. I'll plug your business. My friend, longtime friend, one of the longest friends I've had, me and Andy have known each other since 1992, Andy Cotting says, this is serious now. This is the Taco Bell thing was cool, and you can take it for what it's worth. Andy Cotting says, every setback is not a dead end. Sometimes we need to take detours, but have to keep moving forward. That's very Jocko-esque.
Very Jocko-esque.
Keep moving forward, regardless.
No, and to keep moving forward, you have to just keep your mindset and your focus on where you're going.
Yeah.
Constantly. Yeah. Constantly thinking steps ahead, constantly thinking where you want to be instead of where you are.
Right.
And so that no matter what kind of comes across you and what kind of sets you back, you still know where you want to go.
Right. Well, man, and Andy was one of those guys. Like Andy has been there and done it and seen it and been through it. And he, they'll pull him up by his bootstraps. That was Andy. He put himself through school.
Yeah.
Built a business and
pretty good one.
Andy's we're bordering on world famous now with Andy Cotting. If you're a dental hygiene student, AndyFutureRDH.com, hit him up. He can help you out if you haven't already discovered him. But odds are, if you're a dental hygiene student, you already have discovered him. But yeah, Andy toughed it out, and Andy's made something out of his life. But he's been through hard times too.
He knows that. He knows that comment pretty well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Good for him.
So, Thomas Boylan, I'm going to let you pick up with this one, Drew.
Sweet.
Thomas Boylan, not this one. I'm showing Drew on the screen where he's going to pick up. I still got Thomas. I know Thomas. Love Thomas. Thomas, man, speaking of overcoming adversity, this cat's done it too. He just graduated with an associate's, I believe, in law enforcement, criminal justice, something along those lines. He's a model kid. Didn't always have things going his way, and I don't want to get into like Tommy's whole story or whatever on here, but maybe we can have Tommy on sometime. But overcame it, did it, worked hard. School was not necessarily his strong suit, but he did it anyway. And again, he just graduated, and he says to recent graduates, to those who are graduating high school, do what you want to aim and achieve, if at all possible. So go get it, basically. Go to college, earn that 2 or 4 year degree. If that's your thing, if that's what you want to do, go after it as hard as you can. That's what Tommy did. The story I was going to get into, the brief story, was Tommy's a Civil Air Patrol kid. His name's Tommy, right? So we call him Major Tom. Yeah. One of these days, Tommy's going to be a major, like major, and we're going to get to actually call him Major Tom. But Tommy's living proof that hard work pays off. He's been there. Allison Cornett Bacala.
You're going to eat that one later.
I've never heard that name said before. I didn't know her before she got married, and we just recently became friends on Facebook. So, Allison, God bless you. Thank you for responding.
Make sure you reach out and tell him how bad he butchered your name.
Yeah, I know. I said it both 2 ways, so maybe I got one of them right.
Probably not.
But I don't know. Probably butchered it anyway. Allison says, follow your heart and true interest, whatever it is. Whatever they love is what they should pursue. So, go after something you like. There's the old saying, find a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. That's what we're talking about here. That's what Allison's talking about. Follow your heart and your truest intent, whatever it is. If you want to be an art teacher, go be an art teacher. If you want to be, a rocket scientist, go hard after being a rocket scientist. We're going to talk in just a second. The next one is going to address majors also. So kind of weigh these two out because there's a valid point coming up in the next one.
Yeah, I want to touch on Allison's comment for just 1 second.
Go for it.
Because we're starting to have enough of these that they're starting to all kind of relate a little bit. So you can kind of go back, and that kind of goes back to the I guess it was 3 or 4. I don't remember what number. About being the best and that it's okay to want to be the best at what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you want to be an art teacher, I'll use me. You want to be a college football coach, you better understand that there's not a ton of money floating around in college football, and you better try to be the best one at it so you can take care of yourself.
Yeah, right.
You want to be an art teacher, there's not a whole lot of money being an art teacher, so you better be the best one there is so you can take care of yourself.
Right.
And it's okay to want to be it's okay to put some
power out. Absolutely.
And that doesn't mean don't go chase your thing, because I'm chasing my thing. But
chase your thing, man.
Do it, but make sure you're doing it. Don't cheat yourself.
Right.
John Kendrick comes in, local business owner, longtime successful business owner.
Navy veteran. College
degrees and things like native dance theory don't end well. and the world has enough philosophers. Put some real thought into your major.
All right. So Allison says, go after what you want to go after. And I don't think John would disagree with that, but I think he wants you to be reasonable about it. You know, be reasonable, be realistic.
John's a classic example, though, of what I was just saying.
Yeah.
John loves golf. That's his thing. That's what he does. So he opens up this little golf shop.
John's our cousin. Look, John runs Golf for Less here in Rome, Georgia. If you need golf supplies, balls, tees, clubs, I think they can buy clubs from you.
They do.
Go see John and his team at Golf for Less.
But he opens up this spot because that's what he wanted to do.
Right.
Well, now he's the spot.
Yeah.
He is the place in this part of the state, man. You go see John and you get your golf game right.
Right.
And
so I
don't know if I don't even know, John, you can tell me later, but I don't even know if John has a college degree, which is a point that I wanted to make, because I know he did his Navy thing, and then I don't know if he went to school between it or not. But the point that I wanted to make with him, and what I was thinking about as we were kind of getting ready for this thing today, was John's the example, man. Yeah. If you don't want to go to college, you don't have to. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of multimillionaires walking around that don't have college degrees.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of guys who run really successful businesses that don't have college degrees. There's a whole bunch of guys somewhere doing podcasts that don't have college degrees. There's whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to, unless you want to be a doctor, Jeff Rice coming soon.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to do that.
Yeah. Right.
The internet's an amazing thing.
The internet is an amazing thing. You can, we're doing a podcast that people on.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody syndicated this. Nobody came to us and said, you guys should do a podcast. It's going to be awesome.
There's no funding.
There's no.
That's not. You just do it.
The internet's a wonderful thing.
It is. You can do all kinds of things on the internet these days.
Speaking of newly established Dr. Jeffrey Rice.
That's right.
Congratulations out there, Jeff.
Congrats, Dr. Jeff.
This is a good one now. Jeff put down some wisdom. Trust that God has a plan for you, and always remember, if your dream matches his plans, then everything will work out, even when you don't think it will or see any way possible. Funny enough, even when doors close sometimes, God opens the back door and says, trust me, and walk through whatever door he opens.
Without realizing it, Jeff, maybe he probably realized it. Jeff said he knows God and has a good relationship with him. Jeff touched on some scripture here, and he talks about, remember, your dream matches his plans. So we talked a couple of weeks ago. This episode Jessica was on with me. Delight in the Lord, and he'll give you the desires of your heart. That's what he's talking about here. Make sure you get the desires of your heart, because if you've delighted yourself in the Lord, then the desires of your heart are going to match his will. So that's what Jeff's talking about here. And, God's will for your life is ultimately the best plan, because he wants the best thing for you. So you go after that, and it's going to work out even when you think it's not going to. So that's where Jeff's coming from there. And, and that's awesome. That's a good place to be. Jeff knew. Yeah, you've known Jeff since you were like 7 years old.
Yeah,
and Jeff's
really
always, I'm going to be a doctor. And now he just recently graduated.
Yeah.
He's going to do his residency in someplace in Oklahoma, I believe he said.
Is he?
I think so. I think that's right. He's been all over. Yeah, man. Dr. Jeff Rice is doing it big these days. Johnny Harris, worship leader, Cassville Baptist Church. Johnny's going to be on with us maybe next week.
Do it, Johnny.
We're going to get him on. It's going to be cool. We're going to talk about what it's like to be thrust into the position of worship leader when you're 20 years old in your church. It's going to be great. It's awesome. Johnny's come a long way. Johnny says, be who you want to be, and don't be anxious about how others may see you.
Preach it, Johnny.
That's the way to do it, man. That's the way to do it. You're not living your life for anybody else. Whatever you do is between you and God. Don't worry about what other people think. Do it. Some people think it's dumb to.
It's none of your business.
Yeah, it's not. It's none of your business. That's a
good episode.
That was a good episode. Go back, and we're plugging all of our old episodes tonight.
They're all coming around. Chad Penny.
Chad Penny. What's Chad Penny say, Jerry?
Ecclesiastes 3:1.
Ecclesiastes 3:1. I got one wrong.
What do you know? We got that pulled up right here.
We do. We got it right here on the internet.
It's a wonderful thing.
It's Ecclesiastes 3:1 specifically, he mentions, says, there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. And there's been songs written about this, and if you've opened the Bible before, you've probably seen it. It's one of those standard vacation Bible school, Sunday school type passages. It goes on. The first 8 verses are a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, time to uproot. And I'm not going to read them all tonight, but I encourage you to do so, especially if you're one of these graduates or you know one or you have one like we're talking about, and pass this on, because this, it pertains to pretty much everything you can think of in life. There's a time for it. So it's something to consider when you're doing, like John Kendrick said, and when you're considering your major, or somebody, some of the other folks have been talked about considering the path that you're going to choose. And that's a good verse to look at because it pretty much covers everything. In all of them, right? That's all in there. My wife, Jessica Burnham, you've heard her here on the podcast before, quite possibly. She says, if you're going to college, start at a community college if at all possible. The big schools are ridiculous expensive.
Ridiculous expensive.
Ridiculous. She's right. That's true. And somebody echoes that here. Chris Cotting says, go to a technical school and stay home and save money. Nothing wrong with having a trade job and making great money versus a decent job from a 4-year school and mountains of debt. So those two kind of complement each other here. Stay home, if at all possible. If you live in Wahoo, Nebraska, and there's no college in your town, you might have to go off and do your thing. But there's more frugal ways to do it than to go to some school, take out $200,000 worth of student loans and starve to death for the next 40 years trying to pay it back.
That's right.
Chris is a X-ray technician, radiological technologist.
He shoots your X-rays.
Yeah, it takes people, take pictures of the, all your inside parts and pieces. Went to a technical school, got a good degree, makes good money. He's doing okay. My wife went to a technical school. She's a licensed practical nurse. Solid money, not shouldn't have a ton of student debt and, anything like that, because you pay for school when you go to these technical colleges, and it's just not a big deal. The big schools, if you want to do that, find a way. That's great. I don't know anybody that wants to be in $250,000 worth of debt before you ever make a dime in your life. It is what it is. But you get the picture from those two guys together. You want to read the one in the middle there that I skipped? Go for it.
Tracy Owens.
God bless her. Sweet, super awesome woman.
My best advice: follow your heart, and not everyone's cut out for college.
Hey.
Recurring theme. Be an apprentice. Get some job skills and see what you really enjoy doing. Work isn't work when you love it. We've just recently started telling kids, not everybody, college is not for everybody. Like, it's a new kind of thing we're getting back into. And I say I work in a high school in public education. And for like so long, we're going, you got to go to college. You have to go to college. You have to go to college. And then one day we didn't have any like plumbers or mechanics or, guys that get their hands dirty for a living that we have to have. Like, those people make the world go around. And now we're trying to push kids back into like, maybe college is not for you or whatever, tech school, or just go get a job. I'll probably get in trouble from somebody for saying this.
Do it.
I haven't used anything that I learned in college.
Whoa.
I had to go to – they will not hire you to be a college football coach if you don't have a college degree.
Right.
Okay, that's cool. I haven't used anything that I learned at either of my colleges.
This is why it's important to choose the right major. There's not – we're,
You know why I chose my major? Because I got to do some classes in a hammock.
With recreation?
I wasn't going to use it anyway.
What are you,
So I have a degree on the wall in recreation and leisure services.
Boom. There you go.
Winner. I'm not using it.
all
But
that
I wasn't
to
going to
say-
waste my time getting a chemistry degree because I
but
wasn't going to
you
use that either.
Did what you had to do to achieve your goal.
That's it.
And it took you 7 years
Off and on.
But you did it. You did what you had to do to achieve
Yeah.
your goal. You're, a recreation and leisure outdoor chilling class.
That's right.
Drew's got a degree in chilling.
It's chilling.
It was
it's
a
not,
means to an end.
It's chilling and teaching other people how to chill.
And teaching sharing the love, man. Chilling. Yeah.
But
so
they weren't going to let me coach college football if I didn't have one.
right. So
if I got to get one, I might as well do it from my hammock.
Absolutely.
That's right, kids.
Oh, man. I wish I knew his rank.
Take that, John Kendrick.
Yeah. I wish I knew his rank. Kobe Reeves is in the Army. He's stationed Fort Hood. He's in Texas. He's actually in Rome right now as we speak.
Ooh,
yeah.
Kobe.
But Kobe doesn't recommend the Army necessarily. He says go to school, either vocational or 4-year. Do what you got to do. Go to school. Tyler Tolbert is a Marine. He more or less recommends the service. I'm telling kids these days to go in the Army. I don't think Kobe regrets having gone in the military, but it ain't easy. That's why everybody doesn't sign up to do it, but it's necessary. Like, thank God people like Kobe and Tyler signed up for the military.
And, I think people get deterred from this a little bit by saying, well, I don't want to go to combat.
Yeah.
I've recently been a little bit educated.
All right.
Because I got to be working on a project for the old Hawks, and got in a little bit of contact with the Army recruiter here in town, Sergeant Doucette. What's up? And he's kind of educated me a little bit. You don't want to pull the trigger and shoot people in the forehead? Don't do that.
Yeah.
You want to be an HVAC guy? You want to work on somebody's air conditioner one day?
Yeah.
Come to the Army. We'll teach you how to do it, and then we'll pay you to get trained when you get out.
Right.
You want to fly planes? Come to the Army. We'll teach you how to do it. You want to be a nurse? Come to the Army. We'll teach you how to do it.
I'm telling kids in public school every single day that somebody asks, I don't know what I want to do. They say, what do you think I should do when I graduate? Join the Army. Join the Navy, the Air Force. Sign up for the military. The National Guard right here in Georgia has a sweet deal going.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
Keith told me, and I never thought of it that way. When he said it, I thought back to the military base that I'd been on, and I said, he's right.
Yeah.
Keith said, if you suck every civilian out of Rome, Georgia right now, and you put a wall around it, and you drop an equal amount of not even equal, lesser amount of service members in it, we could run this entire town. You wouldn't have to shut down anything. We could do everything.
Right.
We got cooks, we got doctors, we got nurses, we got police, we got whatever you need. And we'd have a pretty good SWAT team.
Yeah, yeah.
And I stopped for a second. I said, he's right.
Yeah.
He's right.
Well, when something breaks on an Army base,
they don't outsource it.
They don't call the electrical company, the electrician down the road to fix it. They got guys that do it. I'm pushing people toward the military. Guys that get in there, I know people that are in there. I know people that have been in there. And the difference is the guys that are in there complain about it, and the guys that were in there talk about how awesome it was.
Yeah.
Like what a great time they had. And and so not everybody, but some people wish they had done something else.
I think that's the case with a lot of stages of your life. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
You talked about me being in college on and off for 7 years. It took me forever because I had to stop a few times, or whatever. But when I was in college, all I could think about was, man, this is awful. Yeah. When am I going to be? I'm not even going to use this thing. When am I going to be done?
Right.
This is ridiculous. And then I walked across the stage and hugged that little tiny guy in Murray, Kentucky. And then I said, man, that was awesome. Thank God it's over. But, man, that was awesome.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm unlike those service guys, I'm not really in any hurry to jump back in there. I don't want to do that.
No, I don't.
But you kind of look back at it and realize, well, that was okay. So if you're roughing it through something right now, just understand when it's over, you look back at it. I promise you look back at it and say, well, that wasn't so bad.
Wasn't that bad, right? Yeah.
Jan Morris. Man.
Legendary educator. Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in years.
Well, Yeah, we got back in contact just recently.
She's fantastic.
She is fantastic. Miss Morris was my second grade teacher.
My first grade teacher. What's up,
Did she
Miss
teach
Morris?
you too?
Absolutely.
I didn't know. I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
Lucky her.
Well, she taught our older brother too. That's cool. Legendary in this neck of the woods, Miss Janet Morris. She says, think hard about the path you want to follow and then figure out how to walk the path. Give it all you have and don't expect it all to happen overnight. She says, our grandson recently graduated from college, and we said that 4 years ago he went away a boy and now he returned as a man. Recognize that achieving your goal will take some time and be willing to give it that time necessary to reach it. Hold fast to your dream and don't let go. Do whatever you have to do to get there. You will do it. I mean, those are valuable words, right?
She's on it.
She is, absolutely. Wide open, full throttle.
That second half of that thing, she is on it. Recognize that achieving your goal will take some time. I want to be a college football coach since I was 7 years old or something like that.
Something like that.
I was young enough that I don't remember the moment the light switch went off and said, that's what I want to do. I don't remember it, so it was obviously pretty young.
Long time ago, right?
It's going to take some time.
Got to work, man.
It would have been – there were a bunch of times when I could have said, this is dumb. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, would have been easy.
And the same is true for anybody else that's doing what they want to do. It's a ton of times in the process of building that thing, they could have said, this is not working. I'm going on. Don't do that. Be willing to give it that time necessary to reach it. Hold fast to your dream and don't let go. Do whatever you have to do.
There's a Daniel Burnham quote that's really said, not me, like the famous Daniel Burnham that designed all those big buildings in Chicago. And he's got a really similar quote. So check that out. Daniel Burnham's plans. Moving on. Beth Penny, another one of my co-workers, God bless her, says, whether your house is built on the sand or on the rock, turn to God. That's great advice. That's good stuff. And I'm getting Facebook notifications while I'm reading off of it, and they're distracting. It would be Scooter Allison, too. Angie Yancey says, get your education before marriage and children. A lot of people make that priority. And, and not to say that it's impossible to do it.
But it certainly helps.
It does help. That's true.
Do you think this, because you've kind of seen it from the other side now, do you think it's more rewarding when you have to do it? Do you think it's just more special when you do it and you knew you had to do it the hard way?
No.
Because it's exponentially harder.
It's so much harder. And it was worth it. Like, my wife has been in school for much of the time that we've been married, and it was hard. It was so hard. There were like days at a time that we didn't see each other, or the kids didn't see her for that. I don't know if it's more rewarding. It's way harder.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's one of the. I guess I don't know. That's a better question for Jessica, I guess, because she's the one that actually was going to school that whole time.
And I guess to really be able to know, you would have to have done it both ways, I guess. Because she's probably not going to know any more than I know, because I only know it my way and she only knows it the other way. Yeah.
But, I mean, I could see why somebody would think, it was more rewarding, because it's definitely harder.
Absolutely.
So,
I had it bad.
Some people, glory in the struggle. And they go, it's worth it because of how hard I had to fight for it.
That's right.
So, I don't know. That's a good question for somebody that's actually done it. I was on the opposite end of what she was doing. I don't know. It was harder. She might tell you it was more rewarding. I don't know. Do it.
Learn a trade and do something you have a passion for.
That's it, man. Short and sweet. Good stuff.
That's a recurring theme there.
You get to read this one.
Wah, what up?
Wah.
Holly, tell her we go.
We used to call her Wah back in the day. Drew did when he was a baby.
Just be a good human.
Hey.
Treat people the way you want to be treated in your personal and professional life. Apologize when you make mistakes and forgive people, or forgive when someone wrongs you.
Holly cites the golden rule.
Just be a good person.
That's it. Treat people how you want to be treated.
That's right.
That'll take you far in life.
This one slid under the radar on me there, Andrew Denman. I didn't watch this video. Did you watch this video?
I've seen the video. This is the make your bed guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The make your bed guy. The commencement speech the Admiral gave at the University of Texas at Austin graduation. Look it up. Look it up. I'll repost a link on my page and on the Fire Facebook page.
That's a good one.
So watch that.
I have seen that. I didn't
share that with your graduates. Skip Saunders, esteemed educator extraordinaire, and all around super wise man.
Dr. Saunders these days? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what his level of education.
I thought I heard that somewhere.
Whether or not he was that level of education,
he was definitely that intelligent.
Super high level thinker. Skip says, own and live your thinking. Be sure that it is your thinking.
Deep, Skip.
Right? I mean, make sure it's your thought. So easy. It's so easy these days to watch TV, listen to, whichever news network you prefer, and form your opinion based entirely on a talking head, what they say, instead of just looking at the facts, because you're getting the news at a slant pretty much regardless of who you're getting it from these days. So you have to dig through the slant and find the facts. And that's where you form your opinion.
Walter Cronkite's out there anymore.
No, man, there's no objective news anymore. These guys it's all a slant and an agenda. But find your own level. Form your own opinions based on facts that you dug up for yourself.
And then believe it.
Believe it. Stand on it. Own it. That's what Skip says. Wise words. The classmate of yours.
JP, the X-Man.
The X-Man, Jamie Palmer.
Jamie Palmer. The same advice you gave me on my graduation day. Don't let the last 4 years be the best 4 years of your life.
Holy smokes. Yeah. No, I tell kids that all the time. I said it more when I was coaching. I don't catch myself saying it quite as much anymore. But these guys Jamie was a really good high school football player. And it would have been easy for Jamie to say, man, that was the best 4 years of my life when I was toting rock for the Motto Blue Devils and playing defensive end and
breaking backdoor draw for 30 yards a pop at Adairsville. What up, JP? Don't think I forgot.
Love it. It's beautiful. But it's easy for us, anybody, to look back and say, man, I was awesome then. I was a superstar athlete and I had everything going for me. High school were the best years of my life. God help you if high school was the best years of your life.
Yeah.
Looking back, you realize high school might have been the easiest 4 years of your life, but don't let it be the best. Don't let that be like, just sit around talking all the time about how great I used to be. Well, do something great now. Do something great 5 years from now in the future. Your whole life doing great stuff. Don't rest on who you used to be, because I played football one time. I couldn't do it now. I'm not great at football, and no matter how good I was then, I'm not, I couldn't just roll out and play football. So that doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
Things that I learned playing football, I still can relate to life and, struggles and things like that. But the fact that I could catch really good doesn't benefit me at all anymore. So don't look back and, even if you were the homecoming queen or the, prom king, whatever you got.
Or you were breaking backdoor draw for 30 yards.
Or you were busting backdoor draw. Shout out to Todd Wheeler. Don't stop there. Don't let that be the best thing you ever do. Go out in your life and be somebody and make a difference in the world that doesn't just come from, making people stand up and cheer 5 Friday nights a year or whatever.
For sure.
Do something. Be somebody. That's what I tell kids all the time.
JP's starting to figure that thing out too.
He is. He's going places.
He is, man. He's doing it big.
He is. Brett McStotts, right?
Hey, I got a very personal connection with this comment. So you go on with this, and I'll take you to the glory land.
All right. Brett McStotts says that only you can prevent forest fires.
Yeah, that's right. I had to move my honeymoon because somebody burned down the Great Smoky Mountains.
That's true. That's true. The great forest fire.
the big forest fire that burned down half of Tennessee.
Yeah. Man, I forgot about
We
that.
were getting ready to get married, and I'm in Kentucky watching this thing on TV, talking to Christina. Hey, I don't know. We might have to. We didn't get to stay, and we had to move our hotel. There's a bunch of stuff that we didn't get to do that we wanted to do.
Yeah,
because we were going to go to the Smokies for our honeymoon, and everything was shut down because everywhere was full of smoke. Everything was burned down. That place looked rough.
Yeah.
Cars burned out on the side of the road, and people's multi-million-dollar mountain houses gone, and all this. So,
and Brett's right. I mean,
only you can prevent forest
fires.
fires.
Whoever started it could have prevented it.
Seems funny, but it'll
says,
ruin somebody's honeymoon.
Brett also says, read a book. I don't know. That's more or less valuable than only you can prevent forest
I don't know.
fires.
I don't have a sob story about not ever reading books. So I don't really know about that.
I don't know either. Those are our responses. Those are what we got from the question that was posted. Drew, what would you say, if we haven't already covered it, what would you say to a graduating senior in 2018?
I think we have.
We probably have.
But it's for me, and looking back to that point now, just don't ever let anybody tell you no. Like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
I can do that. The internet, I can do that.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, you can do that.
Right.
That can happen.
Yeah, I was talking to a coworker the other day, and he has a son who's a Marine now. He's on Okinawa. And he had, a lot of kids have learning disabilities, things like that. And this kid had his own set of struggles. And but his dad wouldn't let him, fall into a special ed program or anything like that. And we were talking about that, and this light bulb came on for me and was like, well, yeah, I mean, if you start telling the kid there's something wrong with him, he's going to believe it.
Yeah.
And it was just never on his radar that there was anything that wasn't 100% A-okay.
Yeah.
And he's hustled his way through life, and now he's doing big things.
And that's what it's all about. It's all about how you talk to yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you tell yourself?
Yeah.
Forget what all those other people tell you, what you can, can't do, won't do, ain't able to do, whatever. What do you tell yourself?
Yeah, right.
You keep telling yourself whatever you want to hear. Because if you keep hearing it from yourself long enough, you'll do it.
Yeah, well, Dr. Jeffrey Rice told himself for 20 years he was going to be Dr. Jeffrey Rice, and now he is.
Now he is.
And that's not, that's not hocus pocus prosperity gospel.
No.
If you think it and believe it hard enough, it'll happen. Like, it's not. Jeff has worked. He's been working. Any of these people or anybody that's successful.
You're not going to do it by thinking about it, but you're not going to make it happen if you don't constantly think about it either.
Right. But you got to think about it enough to drive yourself to work for it. I want to leave you guys tonight or this morning, whenever you're watching the show. I do that every week. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 11. Talking about graduation and things and moving on to like a new stage in life. Verse 11 says, when I was a child, I talked as a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. So that's not to say that you can never have fun again after you get out of high school and, that's the end of all the fun for your whole life. That's not what that means. But it's a time when, we talk about now you're going out into the real world and things are going to get real and bills are going to start showing up with your name on them and stuff like that. And it's a different set of priorities when you get to adulthood, when you're past high school. And my father-in-law sent me a meme the other day, a bunch of kids in graduation gowns, and they got their caps and their diplomas, and it says, congratulations, you just got past the easiest part of life. Like, you got to be a kid, and that was cool, and you can still have fun, but priorities are different. They change. So make sure, like we talked about a minute ago, that you're still doing great things after you get out of high school, and you're, how famous you were, popular in school doesn't really matter anymore. Your new boss doesn't care. You got a job to do. So make sure your priorities are right, and make sure that number one on your priority list is God, and that you're following him and seeking his will, whatever you're doing, wherever you're going. That's number one. And like we've talked about, that's what's going to pay off for you in the end. And don't start forest fires, and be sure you know how to fight zombies. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but that's awesome. It says you accepted Jesus today.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's as good as it gets.
That's awesome.
That's super cool. You're very happy. Well, we're very happy too.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
That's big time. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. But and thank you guys all for watching tonight, and for listening, or for whatever you're doing. Feel free to go back and listen to some of our past episodes. We've got them all on Anchor. They're on iTunes. They're on Radio Public. One other place. Pocket Cast. They're on podcast. Of course, they're here on YouTube. Hit them up. We'll post links. You guys can go back and find them later. See you next time.